All right, it's Ron Goodall from FightHype.com. Being pleasure to be shared, having a nice conversation with my boy RayShawn Abram. How's it going?
All right, all right. Yourself?
Good, good, man. Obviously we're coming off the heels of a great performance of Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. I know that the boxing world is still talking about this amazing performance. And it's just crazy what boxing brings. It's brought us together to talk and things like that. But just overall, just what was your thoughts on that? Just great performance.
Man, I can't say that it surprised me. I bet on it. You know what I mean? Uh, I bet on the knockout. I mean, it's just beautiful to see the world really see what we've been seeing. We've
Mhm.
been seeing this, since the amateurs. Like, um, for whatever reason, they had doubts, and it's beautiful to see that those doubts have been relinquished.
When big fights like that happen, a lot of emotions definitely are poured in leading up to the fight, and even especially during the fight. But when things are done, the dust is settled and everything, it seems like there's this huge camaraderie between like the fans. I mean, Crawford coming over to Spence, Spence giving props to Crawford. I mean, it just felt like a very genuine build up to a very genuine end. No man made excuses, no man took away from anything and gave each other their flowers. And it just seems like that's exactly what's happening. Would you agree? Like that's what's happening?
Yes, I very much agree. And it's crazy how, like, during, one of the press conferences, one of Spence's people, was kind of making it like not so good or whatnot. And Terrence responds, to that was like, hey man, chill, man. Like, this they gonna think all the time when black people come together, they think it's this, whatever, what you vote. It was just good to see, you know, he showed his maturity and his humbleness all at the same time on the same stage when other fighters could have, would have maybe had a different, you know, approach.
And I know this first time on Fight Hype, and a lot of people probably wondering like the relationship and things like that. But you're someone who a little bit older than Terrence, was in the training, well, like in the amateur boxing scene. You're an amateur boxer coming up out of Omaha, Nebraska, and you guys have even had the opportunity to share the ring. I know that throughout after the parade and the celebration, you guys were able to have like a private ordeal and like a castle, and it was to celebrate not just Terrence, but the team and everyone around him, from probably family and friends and things like that. What's your relationship with Terrence?
Well, I was at the gym when he came to the gym as a kid, as a 7-year-old kid. Uh, you know, uh, Sparring partners, teammates. You know, someone that unfortunately I've had to watch from afar for a substantial period of time. Due to incarceration, um, for a justifiable matter, may I add. And yeah, we just good. We good. Day one, you know what I mean? When boxing shit started, I was there. And now that it's reaching its peak, he feels that it's only right that I be included, and so I'm here.
There was this little clip that you had where he was speaking to you directly, and it felt very, well, the world knows, very Terrence Crawford like, when he expressed that you guys sparred before and you may have gotten the better at times in those moments. So he mentioned that, it's only right that when you come around, we get that get back, and you're on his
Yeah, he
hit
said he got
list.
a hit list. That's what he said. And it's crazy because when I came back to the gym, when I came home or whatnot, one of the first things he asked me was, "You want to spar?" It is crazy. Like, I've been off for so long, in my mind, I
Mhm.
feel like I still got it. Like, I still can get in there and compete with a world champion. So I told him, I said, man, give me like 2 months. That's what I told him. I said, give me like 2 months. Man, he gave me them 2 months, and it didn't turn out good.
Oh, so you actually got to like this is the Terrence Crawford that you got
Yeah,
to
the
get.
world champion Terence Crawford. I got in the ring with him, and I ain't ashamed about it, man. It's the best
Oh.
shit on the planet. You know what I mean? He did his thing,
Mhm.
And he didn't go all out or nothing like that, but he definitely let it be known that, that whatever.
But that was love. Like what that was like, big bro, come home. You know, we about to play some games, how I would say it, but the games is boxing. Like, let me show you what I worked on, you know, and just that is a very like loving brotherhood. Like that's what that really was.
Yeah, that's one thing that I admire about him. Uh, out of all the time I was gone for a lengthy period of time, and so I wasn't there for uh the first belt. I wasn't there when he turned pro. You know what I mean? I was there for one of his last amateur fights, and when I seen that, I was like, "Oh my god! Like this guy is amazing." But again, I wasn't there for the uphill battle to
Mhm.
where he is now. You know what I mean? And it's just beautiful to me, for him to extend his hand to me that the way that he has and allow me to be, part of some history making fight, this history training camp that has occurred over the last couple of months prior to the fight.
I mean, even the story that I was enlightened of the fact of how you even was um brought on or offered to come to see his training camp, the training camp for the undisputed two-time four belt era. Like the whole link up was great and crazy and just
It was so casual. It was almost as if he was asking me something as simple as if I wanted to go shoot pool tonight or something. It was just casual, like it was nothing major. I come into the gym one day, he was doing abs, and when I walked past, what I mean, we shook hands or whatnot. And he asked me, asked me was I on paper, probation or whatnot. And I told him, I'm like, yeah. But I could sense that he was asking me for a reason. So I'm like, but shit, I kind of like I get to move around when I want to, go out of town and things like that. Like I'm kind of cool. He was like, shit, you want to come to training camp? This is before the Spence fight is official, but it's like brewing in the air. I'm like,
mhm.
hell yeah. He's like, all right, that's it. Now this is about maybe at least at least a month before the fight became official. We don't have another conversation about it. There is no details given, no date given, no nothing. So we have the send-off party for him down at the gym, the block party or whatnot. And so when I go down there, me and Terence encounter, and he was like, he said, "What's up, RayShawn?" He said, "You ready to leave in the morning?" I'm like, "In the morning?" I said, "Man, you ain't." I said, "You ain't saying nothing." He said, "Man, come on, I've been invited you to training camp." I said, "Yeah, but you didn't say that we leaving tomorrow." But anyway, it's so big of a situation that's unfolding that I didn't think about it long at all. I
Mhm.
just like, okay, I'm there. And when I left, I made whatever arrangements I had to make, what I mean, as far as calling people and getting some things in order or whatnot. And that was maybe about 6 o'clock in the evening. And 4 o'clock in the morning, I was up, meeting them down at the gym to leave for training camp.
You know, just the takeaway from that story is, and you know, maybe a lot of people don't have the privilege of like being around him like you, but there's these sides of Terrence that people don't get to see. I mean, just kind of like adding one of my stories, and it kind of adds to this consistency. Terrence seems like a man of his word. Like when he says it, you know,
Sure.
even if when you think it
Let me
doesn't
tell you this,
happen.
too. Let me tell you this. I never told Terrence this right here, but let me tell you this. So training camp started in Colorado Springs, right? Now, when the fight got close, 2 weeks before the fight, we came back to Omaha, to bring all the cars back, the trucks back or whatnot, and then to go to Vegas. So when we leave from Colorado Springs and come back to Vegas, nobody ain't tell me nothing about when we leaving for Vegas, how we getting there, flight plans. I'm like, man, I said, man, they gonna leave me in Omaha. That's what I'm thinking to myself. I said, they gonna leave me in Omaha. So, but I don't want to be like invasive or nothing like that. So I'm kind of just chilling and seeing what the plan is. And Bud called me. He said, "What's up?" can you leave tonight? They had left that morning. He said, what's up? Can you leave tonight? I'm like, hell yeah. So this is probably like 7:30, and my flight is like 8:20. You know what I mean? So I got to get situated and get down to the airport, and it wasn't that close, but it was close. But I did what I had to do, and I got to that airport, the flight paid for, everything. Like, yeah, he has a huge heart, man. He does things that he doesn't have to do, but he does it because he wants you to have experiences. He wants, to enhance the quality of your life, and I applaud that.
Just adding on to that, like just the whole, it just continues to add to the whole. If you met or been around Terrence, like, Terrence is a very smart individual. He understands like when people are trying to capitalize and things like that. But when he kind of like, goes out his way, like, he does interviews like in the boxing room, but sometimes, and he's not entitled, but people will kind of say, hey, can you do an interview? And he's like, nah, not today, whatnot. But there was a time where he kind of was like, I'm not doing any interviews now because I'm assuming like I don't want to take away the shine away or stuff from like the people I'm here to support, but find me at the end of the week. I got you. And, just kind of thinking the same thing, like, okay, I got to go find him. And maybe, some fighters typically are like, next time. Man, it was on cue. He saw me, I saw him. He was like, all right, let's go. Kind of like I said I would, and I'm going to.
Yeah,
And the energy has never changed.
it's almost like
And
I said I would, so I don't got to tell you tomorrow and next week and the week after. I already told you I would. So my
yeah,
word, what it is, and now that it's time to go, what's up? You ready to leave?
and,
Yeah,
and
I'm ready to leave.
and that's kind of been the whole story of his boxing career. I mean, he says he's won in that fight with Spence, and sure enough, he didn't lie about it at all. And in respect to Spence, the whole buildup just felt like guys that just wanted to face each other. And I know the animosity and all the stuff that came together of them like, oh, I'm the best, and but once the fight was over, like literally the fight was over, you saw the camaraderie of just Crawford thanking Spence for just coming together and making the fight and materializing it. And then afterwards, just the celebratory come home, and he's on his media victory lap right now with all the media outlets, and he had his parade and like the castle that we spoke of. It just seems almost maybe overdue. Would you say that his accomplishments
Far
prior
overdue.
to it? Mm-hmm.
We've been knowing this, that his level of greatness. Me personally, man, I saw it. His I don't know if it was his last amateur fight, but it was the last amateur fight that I witnessed. I knew his level of greatness. I told him after the fight, like, bud, just stay out of trouble. Like, you're gonna be rich. You know what I mean? Like, your life is set. It's sad that it took, the rest of the world so long to come on board with knowing the level of this man's greatness.
I mean, and it's kind of, I guess, maybe similar to like the other greats like Floyd. Like Floyd Mayweather, is and Terrence are being brought up together a lot as guys that maybe in the moment they weren't appreciated. Maybe only the fighters knew. The other great fighters recognized how great, because Floyd would praise Crawford, Andre Ward would praise Crawford, even up and coming underneath them, the Shakurs and other fighters. But it just seemed like it's always like boxing fans are always asking more, give us more, more, more. And is that because of how great he is, or just the simple fact of just other elements, maybe?
It's almost like his greatness is used against him. He gave a lot of fighters, he took a lot of zeros from a lot of fighters. A lot of fighters were great fighters, but the way he performed against them afterwards, they said that this fighter wasn't this fighter wasn't that. Well, these fighters were these things before they faced Terrence, but after Terrence, he did something to him, and it's sad. And then the guys that he didn't face, that wasn't on him. That was some guys didn't want to, jeopardize or take that level of risk because they knew his level of greatness, but they didn't maybe verbalize it.
Or just the politics in general is like, hey, it's on this
Politics,
side and he's on
yeah,
that side. And
for sure.
so So just kind of just rounding about on all this stuff. I mean, Terrence winning obviously is great for the Crawford family and the Crawford legacy, but do you feel like it also did something for Omaha in general and just what it
Yeah,
was able
yeah,
to?
yes. It's like the greatness, the level of greatness that he achieved is so high that it's too much for one man to like contain. So what I'm saying is it's spilling on everything around him. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Including his city.
Hmm. And just, oh, go
Shining a light.
ahead.
It's shining a light.